Hi kids. Now doing this in front of a camera does make me wonder, is anybody out there? Or am I just talking to myself? But two families this week really encouraged me and so there's a special shout out to Taj and to Indy and to Jay and to Lakey who were watching the screen intently. I told my sister who designs mugs for Maxwell and Williams that she's not the only famous person in our family. And also a shout out to Aubrey and her white rabbit who are intently watching the screen. And this is Aubrey's beautiful colouring in last week of the tree bearing good fruit. Well, last week I asked the question about what Jesus meant in Matthew's Gospel when he talked about the sign of Jonah. And I'm really interested to see how Greg and Aidan are going to answer that question. Malika Clark and Pip and Jack Aitken have obviously been listening to the Church Kids Spot as they've picked up the challenge to be the teacher. So it's over to Marley and then to Pip and Jack.
Hi everyone, today I'm going to be retelling the story of Jonah chapter 1. One day, God appeared to a man named Jonah. God told Jonah to go to a city called Nineveh. Because the people of Nineveh were doing wrong things. They did not know God. Jonah was to tell them about God and his good ways. But Jonah was scared, so he ran away from God and away from Nineveh. He was headed to the city of Tarshish. So he got on a boat at Port Joppa. He paid them the money and all was well. But the Lord God could see Jonah. He was angry. So he sent a big storm that rocked the boat, nearly breaking it to bits. The sailors were scared. They cried out to their fake gods for help, but help did not come. The storm only grew rougher. They threw everything off their ship, trying to make it lighter, but nothing would work. At the time this big storm was happening, Jonah was asleep below deck. The captain ran down to wake him up. He was wondering, how could Jonah sleep through this storm? He asked Jonah urgently that Jonah would pray to his God. Maybe his God would help them. Nothing was working. The storm went harder. The sailors had nothing to do, so they cast lots to find out who had done this terrible thing. They were basically guessing who had done it. And the lot fell on Jonah. Suddenly, they began asking questions about what he had done, where he had come from. Jonah replied he was Hebrew and he worshipped the Lord. He also told them how he had run away from God because he was too scared to go on something and meaning to go to the city of Nineveh. Really scared now, the sailors asked what they must do to make the sea calm. Then Jonah told them that to make the storm go away, they must throw him overboard. But the sailors refused. They only tried harder to row back to shore. The lightning grew bigger, the waves grew taller. Nothing was working. The storm was just getting worse. It was all like they were about to die, so they only had one choice. They had to throw Jonah into the sea. Crying for mercy and forgiveness, that's exactly what they did. Instantly, the sea was calm. Seeing what the Lord had done for them, the sailors cried out in praise. They made promises to him, to the Lord. The Lord had not forgotten Jonah. He sent a big fish to swallow him, and Jonah stayed inside the fish for 3 whole days and 3 whole nights. I hope you enjoy storyboard telling too.
This is Jonah. This is a story of what happened when he decided he did not want to obey God. One day, God said,
Jonah, go to Nineveh. The people there are ignoring me. They are doing many evil things.
Jonah did not want to go to Nineveh, so he ran the other way. He knew God was kind and compassionate. He knew that if the Ninevites repented, God would forgive them. If he forgave them, he would not judge them. Jonah wanted them to be judged for their evil ways. He did not want them to get off for being punished. Jonah got on the boat when a big storm came up. The sailors were terrified. They threw cargo overboard to try and save their ship. They asked Jonah, "What have you done?" They asked Jonah how they could be saved from this terrible storm. Jonah said to throw him overboard, and they did, and the sea became calm. But then a big fish came and swallowed him up.
So, 3 days and 3 nights in a whale's belly. I wonder if that changed Jonah's perspective.